Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report. And as always, Sam and I are happy to have the boss of athletics at CHS, Brent Duncan, with us. Is that okay, a title?
Well, that's okay if you want to give it to me. I think I'm just the guy at the top. We got a lot of people that get us in line. So
No, you run athletics at CHS.
I do that. It takes a lot of staff members to get us done as well. So.
Okay, you have a lot of helpers.
Absolutely.
Okay, well,
have the helpers.
You're still the boss.
I am the boss.
You
of
are
them.
the man.
All right. Is the boss's day today or something?
No.
Okay.
Some changes this week at CHS on goings-on in sports.
Well, we're kind of winding down, which is hard to believe that fall's about over. But
That's
as you
right.
step outside the day, you know it's about over because it got cold and wet in a hurry.
Yes.
But yeah, and unfortunately, tonight's JV games kind of took the bite with the weather and rain, and it's supposed to get worse at 6. So we're going to make up the JV game this coming Thursday at 6. And then obviously Friday night, it's sectional football night for the varsity football team. We'll be traveling to Muncie Central to take on the Bearcats, and hopefully we'll come out on top of that contest. It's
Right.
should be close, I would think. And Saturday we'll have two young men running in the semi-state cross country. Adam Arndt and Owen Baker will represent Connersville. And unfortunately, we had a young lady that finished in the 11th spot, and it takes the top 10 not on the qualifying team. So Amelia Ross missed it by about 0.2 of a second of being there along with them. So
Man.
she ran a good race, and then we had another young lady run, Abigail Strewing, and she kind of had some leg injury, so she did okay. She did better than she'd done before, and this is her first time as a freshman running there, so at the regional. So hopefully next year she'll get an earmark of what she needs to do for the year after.
Okay. Where's the cross-country event?
It will be at Shelbyville. It's at Blue River State Park or whatever it's called. It's not really at the high school. It's just as you cross under the interstate going in, you turn right, and it winds back into the little park area back there behind Walmart and Denny's and all that place back there. So
What about tickets for that event?
we'll have to just pay at the gate, as far as I know. I don't have any info yet, so I don't think they're selling online. I know Michelle Nolly sent something out, and I'll look and see if it's online. We'll get that info out by tomorrow.
What about at Muncie? What's happening as far as tickets?
We have 150 tickets to sell, and currently, right now, the boys football team and the varsity cheerleaders are able to purchase their 2 tickets up through Wednesday, and then we'll definitely open it up for at least for some of them parents to maybe they want extra tickets for the football kids, and then we'll see what we have left come Friday. So, but we only get 150, so I don't imagine there's going to be any left.
Is there a reason for that?
Delaware County is still under tight control of the health department,
Okay.
thanks to according to their AD, the outbreak at Ball State and the COVID cases due to the Ball State University campus. Now, I can't say that's true or false, but that's what he told me. So
Yeah, are they requiring masks? And social
I will
distancing?
look. I'm sure there are masks
Probably
required to
are,
get in,
yes.
and we get 150 on our side, and they get 350 on their side, but they seat 3,500 on their side. So not going to be a very big crowd. So, but as long as the kids are there and they get an opportunity to play, that's what's the important part. So.
As you said, Muncie Central have a pretty good chance because they're 2-4. They had a short season like many schools did, including the Spartans, because of the virus.
Yeah, we played Muncie in a lot of things. We haven't played them in football since I think the year 2000, so it's been a while. Different athlete, probably have a little more speed. We played their JV, and their JV had a lot of speed. I like our chances. I'm not afraid of who we're taking into the battle with
Sure.
us. So if we just can do what we can do and control what we can control and keep their speed from getting on the edges, and hopefully we'll have a good shot to come out with a victory on Friday night. And then obviously if we can win that, we'll definitely host round 2 game on Friday night of fall break, which is October 30th, I believe, and play the winner of the Newcastle Shelbyville game, which
Okay.
odds
Which
on
could be
I would say
winnable as well.
probably Newcastle. Yeah, I would say either one of those. If we can get to that round as well, that game is as winnable as any.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get the one on Friday night at Muncie Central first, and then
One at a time.
Take them one
we'll
at
go
a
from
time.
there. So
The season ended with the Spartans in Batesville Friday night. I know it was a disciplining season for the kids and for the coaching and staffs, but it was a rebuilding year, I suppose, in a way.
well, we have a lot of young kids, and I think Coach Jackson was, trying to get us to be able to 2 platoon, which in football it's really tough. If you're a lineman and
Sure.
you're grunting and grinding on their line all night against offensive people, then you got to turn around and try to do it on the defensive side. You kind of get a little exhausted before halftime. So a lot of changes, a lot of new things. We were in truly every ball game except for the last three. I mean, for the most part. And really, Batesville, I think we just shot ourselves in the foot. You had 3 fumbles in the first half and an interception. So 3 of their 4 scores early came off of our mistakes. So you never know how the game changes if you don't make those mistakes. We took the opening drive and was driving down the field and had a bad exchange and the handoff or whatever we had. And then we had a bad punt on the second series, which gave them a short field. So I think in the 3 of the losses we had, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot and gave our opponents the opportunity to have short field and advantage. And we did the same thing with Greensburg early, and we did the same thing with South Dearborn when we kind of fumbled it away to them a couple times in our end and had bad punts or whatever it happened to be. So,
But those games, we were still in them right at the end.
yeah, I mean, each of those we had a chance at the ball at the end, had a chance to score. You know, in South Dearborn, we punched it in and tried to make the 2-point to tie it up. And Greensburg were inside the 10 trying to score to tie it up. So
Yes.
we've been in those games at the end. And maybe if we're a little bit older, maybe if we're a little more experienced, those things turn our way. But can't make them older, and can only get them experience by being out there. So hopefully they'll take it as a learning lesson, and they'll all come back next year. And once this year is finally complete, I hope that's a couple weeks down the road and further. 6 weeks would be great, be playing in the dome. But you just never know. That's why you put the uniform on and go play. So but hopefully they'll take all the lessons they got from this year and apply it to the off season. You know, and unfortunately for all of us, we didn't have an off season last year to get adjusted into the system and have Coach Jackson's things to put in place a little bit earlier. So we'll see how the off season goes and the summer goes. So
Nothing in sports like untimely mistakes. I guess there's not a timely mistake, but they're bad in every sport, aren't they?
yeah, it just takes a couple minute stretch. You know, football just takes 1 or 2 turnovers or whatever. But you know, in basketball, track, you know, you false start, you're out. You don't get a chance to restart. So unfortunately, but you know, basketball just takes 10 or 15 to 30 second stretch of just really stupidity, and you can be behind by 10 points and never recover. So it doesn't take long for mistakes to add up.
Right. So next year Batesville will come to Connersville for a change. I mean, they've
Yeah, I mean, Coach Brian Helvey, their AD, and I had to do some adjustments on some other schedules.
Sure.
So he asked me if we could return a favor, so I said sure. So next year we'll finish at home and home instead of on the road.
That's right.
Back-to-back games. So
It'll be nice to have 5 home games and 4 away.
yeah, and that's going to be every other year, not counting, you know, and eventually we're going to go to a full-time jamboree in the conference. It's going to be not this year, next year, but the year after. So we'll have 2 different sites with all 8 schools playing in jamboree style like you used to a long time ago. And whether we rotate those sites or not, that'll yet to be seen. So, but you know, ideally you would play home and away every other weekend, but that takes a lot of schedule working and
Sure.
got to have some cooperation from other people on the other end as well.
Takes 2 people to do that.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 4 and 5, so just got to get to schools. Depends on the sport. So
Big week at CHS this week. Girls start practice for you know what.
Sam always knows why, so I guess he's got a countdown day. We're under 20 now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I think
opening
I think it's at
November 5th.
November 5th. I think it's about 18.
So girls tryouts for basketball start
Yes.
today.
And Coach Harder said that probably by Wednesday she would have a good idea of who the team members would be.
Well, you know, you get to the tryout today, and you never know what might come out of the woodwork.
Yes.
It hasn't come to open workout. And obviously, you want them to come to open workout so they can work on their skills, but we'll find out who shows up today. And I'm sure Coach Harder will put them through the lessons and get them prepared. You know, a lot of improvement last year from our girls from beginning to end. And unfortunately, again, she didn't get a summer. But she has been using her limited contact time to get the girls that are not in sports in. We hope all of our coaches use the limited contact time. And
Sure.
you know, everybody wants to get done right after school and go home, but sometimes if you want those in-season sports to be a part of your limited contact time, you know, you got to take those late night slots to get them opportunity to come in and shoot or throw or whatever we can do in the limited contact times per sport. But everybody wants to be home by 6, but unfortunately those kids in season then don't get the chance to work on their out-of-season sports at the same time. And our coaches are good about allowing that. You know, we don't encourage them to scrimmage, but to work on their, you know, if it's basketball, ball handling or shooting, if it's baseball, work on your throwing and your pitching and whatever, and hitting, where they're not actually in physical contact with people to turn an ankle or hurt a leg or do something of those things. So our coaches try to work with each other to make sure those things can happen. So
Yes. She would like at least 30 youngsters to show up so they can have freshmen JV and varsity teams?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that magic number is, but we've kind of been on that borderline with our girls freshman team the last 2 or 3 years where we get 6 or 7, but then we get an injury.
Yes.
And then we got to move 1 or 2 of those up to the JV level, and then all of a sudden we don't have enough to play in the freshman game. So ideally it'd be nice to have enough to keep strictly at the freshman and just play a freshman schedule. You know, in the
Yes.
conference, our freshman boys and our freshman girls play the same night against the same schools, so that makes it nice. You can come and see 2 games for the price of 1. And, so let's hope we have a good enough turnout this year to get that finished and accomplished for the girls in the freshman level.
I know she was very anxious to get started because of the delays the last 2 years that she's encountered, and I know she's hoping for great things this year.
Well, you know, we got some young spots. We got people coming back to fill in. You know, we're a little bit older than we were last year. Last year we were pretty young from top to bottom, and we lost just the 2 seniors, and Cheyenne and Tylissa. So
Yes.
now we're coming back, and I don't know that we're a whole lot older this year, but we are another year under our belt with her, and everybody's at least a year older. So
Yes.
we still have a few underclassmen, and we had at least 1 move in this year, which should hopefully help us a little bit.
Good.
So.
6 foot tall?
No, I wish we were 6 foot tall.
Well,
We have a tall young lady at school that used to play that I keep trying to work on, but I don't think we're going to get her. So, and she's still underclassmen. So, but you know, we have a lot of kids that could help us in the girls that are taller that have stopped playing for some reason or not have ever played. So, you know, I think some of them get focused on just being a one-sport person, and our schools are just getting smaller and smaller, and those one-sport people need to help us in more than one sport. But that's us from a selfish standpoint. So everybody has their things in life they like, dislike. So you can't make them like it if they don't want to play.
That's right.
And if they don't like it and they're out there, they're not always best for the team if they're disgruntled about being there, not about just being disgruntled, just not happy about being on the team. So hopefully she'll get 30 or 35 girls that want to be a part of it, and we'll buy into the system
Yes.
like the guys have bought into our basketball system. So.
Yes. New Palestine comes to town, as Sam pointed out, November 5th on a Thursday is the opening game. That's always a tough team.
Yeah, Coach Gizzy's done a good job since she's taken over that program. And of course, obviously, they're not getting smaller in size at New Pal; they're getting
Yes.
larger. But she's pretty tough on them. So she's put a good program together in the short time that she's been there, and have had a lot of success in the last 3 or 4 years. So we don't start with any easy ones. So
Tough going early on.
you go right out there to that Decatur Central with us, and Decatur Central taking on, or us, and it's Southport and Ritter, and us and Southport taking on Decatur Central and Ritter, and neither one of them 2 were pushovers. So
Now, is that the Saturday?
that's a Saturday shootout the following
Okay.
Saturday.
You have
So.
1 day in between to practice.
Well, you hope she gets a lot in here in the next 2 weeks. So,
Right.
But you know, I guess it's a good experience, and as you get older, you learn how to handle those things a little bit better. So.
Right. And before the season starts, they'd have scrimmage. They'll be traveling to Union County on November 30th at 12 o'clock noon and get together with the Lady Patriots.
Well, at least you get to go bang on somebody else. You know, you think back to years ago, there'd be 4 and 5 weeks of preseason workouts, and you really got tired of banging on your own
Right.
people at practice.
Playing
So
your
now everybody's in the same. You know, the boys and girls get the same amount of days ahead of time. So always good to have somebody else to beat up on and bump
A little bit
against.
of a
to get the
measuring
officials out.
stick that way of where you are with your
Yeah,
with
it's just
your
unfortunate in
preseason.
the scrimmages, you got those certain rules you got to live by and play by, and obviously not everybody's going to be a zone person, and everybody's not going to be a press person. And so sometimes it'd be nice just to have a regular scrimmage game and play the way you want to play, and just be able to do a little bit more coaching and interaction with the kids during the time of the game. But maybe that'll come in time.
Who decided that it would be that way? Was that the coaches or the IHSAA? or-
No, it's been a long time ago coming. So I'd say the coaches have had to have some input. I know that anytime there are changes inside the sports, the coaches always have an input. They survey the coaches through the NI, not the NI, the IIAAA, which is the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. So they get involved.
Easy for you to say.
And then they call the IABCA and the Girls Coaches Association, get all their inputs and send out surveys. So then they kind of look at what they want and tweak it. The Football Coaches Association's done the most with the out-of-season workouts. They put a lot of time in to tweak how many times you can be together, how many times you can go play in a 7-on-7. So other sports are starting to kind of trickle into line with that right now. So I think a lot of the football coaches have talked about kids need to be kids in the summertime. Of course, they say that out front, but sometimes in behind the scene, there's still things going on. But they have done a good job of limiting the number of times you can go take kids places and do things with them in the summertime off your campus, or have people come into your campus. So I think other sports will fall in line with that in the near future.
Hope so. We might take a look now at the football season records for the area teams that we will talk a little bit about them. Cambridge City ended 1-5. They lost 55-6 to South Decatur. And they'll be in the sectional Friday at North Decatur. Centerville 8-1. They won 55-0 over Knightstown. Home with Indianapolis-Scecina Friday for their sectional. Union County is 3-5. They lost 20-7 to Tri. Home with Providence on Friday. Richmond is 1-7. They lost 55-16 to Harrison Lafayette. They're home with Mount Vernon on Friday for the sectional. Franklin County is 4-2. They lost 28-21 to Beech Grove at Batesville Friday for the tournament. Rushville is 0-9. Lost 52-6 to Greensburg. They travel to Scottsburg Friday for the sectional. And the Spartans, of course, 1-6, lost 42-14 at Batesville. They play at Muncie Friday. So in the area, it was really, Centerville was the team here.
Yeah, they must have a good little set of athletes over there right now.
Evidently, yeah.
They've been a while since they've been up there with football with that kind of record, to the best of my memory. So.
Yeah, they played well all season long. So good luck to all the teams in the coming weeks here in the sectional. Sectional will be this Friday, the next Friday, and the third Friday, and then, how's it boil down here? How do you go? Like if you win this week, then...
Well, there's a lot of little formulas. But I know no matter what we do, we're going to host if we win. So,
okay.
Because I'm going to assume Newcastle will beat Shelbyville, and Shelbyville is hosting this week. And if both teams have not hosted, it goes to the bottom team in the bracket, and that would be us. So if Shelbyville would happen to beat Newcastle, since Shelbyville's already hosted and we haven't, then we get to host anyway. So no matter what happens,
just figured all this out.
Somebody's sit down and set the time out. I think they try to spread it out so that you can't go all the way through the tournament without having a home game every game.
Sure, it makes sense. I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Can't just go to the bottom, because if you're the bottom bracket and you're the best team, you'd host every week until you got to the finals. So.
Okay, well, I hope the Spartans.
We have a week 2 home game on the 30th.
Yeah,
October would be great.
Right.
So after 3 weeks of sectional play, then each next step is just one game, correct?
Yeah, the regionals 1 game, semi-state 1 game, and the state finals.
In each class?
In each class.
Okay.
All 6 classes.
And 6A doesn't play this week, right?
Correct. 6A doesn't play this week because there's only 32 teams in that one. So.
Interesting. The winter sports, as we start, a starting date this week for girls basketball and the other sports. These are the guidelines that IHSA sets. And do you have a policeman that goes around and checks this?
Me.
Okay, well, we won't worry about
Sheriff Brent.
Girls basketball, October 19th, first event scrimmage at Union County at noon on the 30th. First home game with New Palestine on Thursday, November 5th. Only 2 starters graduated, as Brent said earlier. Wrestling, first practice November 2nd. It'll be at Lawrence Central on Saturday, November the 21st for first event. Tuesday, November 24th, home with Union County and Knightstown. Only 3 graduated, and all girls from the wrestling team. Is that right?
Well, one of them was wrestler and 2 of them were managers. So
okay. Well,
that's the only ones we lost was Bailey.
Okay, well, it's just one then. That's great. Swimming, first practice for girls, October 26th. The boys, November 9th. That I don't understand, why they have different start dates.
Well, their sectionals are about 2 weeks apart. So the girls' sectional will be 2 weeks before the boys' sectional. So.
Okay,
But the meets are co-ed, right? Usually?
Yeah, we used to have a girls' meet, and I've been looking for 3 years to get somebody to come in and do a single girls' meet ahead. We used to do that with Rushville, and then Rushville dropped their program 3 years ago. And I keep reaching out for somebody just to come and swim us in the girls before we get to that first co-ed meet. But yeah, they're all co-ed, and then the boys have one single meet by themselves on the back end with Muncie Burrs. So.
Okay.
If I can find somebody that wants to come and swim us, or we'll go swim with them at their place, before the co-ed meet, we'd be glad to get that on there. But I sure haven't got anybody to bite yet in the last 2 years, so we'll keep searching, try to get one, because our girls need to be in the water before that first co-ed
Right,
meet.
right.
Both the boys and girls can compete in the diving only event at Centerville on 30th, right?
Correct.
And then they open, first home event will be Tuesday, December 1st with Batesville and Eastern Hancock. Boys basketball, first practice November 9th, scrimmage at Spartan Bowl with Knightstown at 1 o'clock on Saturday, November 21st. The opening game with Union County Wednesday, November the 25th. Gymnastics, first practice November 16th. December 16th will be preview night, and the season begins with Newcastle here on January 12th. So that's the winter sports schedule.
Yep, Newcastle will be Newcastle and New Pal. They're both together. They're always at our
Okay,
place. So.
Okay, good deal. Yeah.
All our gymnastics meets at our place every year except for 2. So.
So will the gymnastics meet be in the new facility, or?
No, there's just no way to store everything over there, and the seating would be difficult to watch all the events because everything would be down low. So the high school gym's actually better because all the fans are up top and they can see all 4 of the events going on at the same time. So.
And it takes, it spreads the load then on your practice facilities. And, yeah.
The field house and the wrestlers will practice obviously in the pit, and middle school wrestlers are coming out to us too, so they'll use the pit and the gym, and then obviously gymnastics practices off-site during the week, and then they have their meets at our place during the regular season. They practice at the gymnastics center during the week because all the equipment's always set up, and they got things they can do there differently than they can do here without having to set up a lot of pits and a lot of blocks and work on skills with some safer equipment down there to work on. So.
Coach Borders, probably longest tenured coach you have.
By far. I don't know if this is 37 or 38 or whatever.
Yeah, long time.
It's the only one they've had since they started gymnastics, in my best of my knowledge. So I always joke with her that if you ever saw the movie Teachers, there's a guy who passed away in the class they called Ditto. And I said, it'll be like Ditto. And she goes, you're probably right. I'll just pass away in my gym one of these days. So hope that's another 20 or 30 years down the line. But,
A lot of
knowledge
dedication there.
A lot of knowledge about gymnastics, well respected around state. Definitely the love of the girls, and my daughter would say she's the second mom to her. Spent quite a few years in the gym with Joanne and doing things. And my grandson's in there every now and then, bouncing on the tramp. So it's been a good place. It's been a safe place for everybody. So.
Sure.
You have a good crop of coaches all the way through, I think.
I think we have a lot of people that are very dedicated, and they're always looking for ways to get things done better. Not everybody's always going to agree with everything they do.
Sure.
But that's the nature of the business that they're in, and they do the things they think are best under the guidelines that we give them. And I think they all have their best interests of every kid in the program at their heart, and we'll always do the best and help them any way they possibly can.
Sure. And you watch the IHSA rules very closely because you're a part of it right now. And,
well, you don't want to be in the notes on a meeting that has your name as a violation at the bottom, so you always make sure you don't have any of those. So.
Sure, I can understand why. Right. But it's like an exciting season coming up here, and we've still got some football to go, and hopefully several games for the kids.
Well, you hope you get this one coming up Friday night and
Yes.
make that turn and get a chance to come back to your place and play on the next Saturday. And we hope that Adam and Owen both get a chance to get out to go run in a state meet at Terre Haute.
Right.
There's a NCAA cross-country course where they run the national championship at Indiana State, and it's a quality course. And it'd be nice to have somebody down there representing us in the state final. And they both ran fairly well this weekend, and their personal best and second personal best for one. So I think they're headed in the right direction, and hopefully everything will go well this week, and I'll get an opportunity to go to Shelbyville on Saturday and show what they have.
Graduation is going to take a lot of kids from the fall sports next June when they leave CHS. There'll be a lot of spots to fill.
Well, that happens every year, it seems like. So
Well, that's right.
hopefully we'll have some people underneath there that step up and take their place and become the leaders. And we'd like to see our numbers continue to grow. And there's no better place to put your kids in some activity after school, whether it's sports or drama or art or music or whatever it is, so you know where they're at. And it's just not a job coming to school and going home. It's something that you can tie into, and you make a lot of friendships and you get a lot of great memories by being a part of something that's just not the school atmosphere, but it's also the things that go on after school with the people that are there and the teachers that are dedicated to give their time after hours are over.
They urge kids to do extracurricular things, but academics is still number one priority.
Oh, no doubt about that. And I think most of our athletes carry a good GPA, so that's something we're always proud of. And when you fill out those forms, you don't have to usually worry about whether you have somebody that's qualified on an academic side and you're worried about whether they're going to make it. And there's always those rare exceptions where you have one every now and then, but for the most part, 70% of our kids are going to carry a 3.0 or higher. So
Teaches good time management.
well, I think I remember kids just from my coaching days and waiting for that bus to get home because they had to go do their calculus or they had to go do their AP chemistry, and they're staying up till 11 and 12 getting their
Sure.
academics done. And it's hard, but I think in the long run it makes you a little bit better, well-rounded person,
Yes.
and you understand when you leave there are things you got to do, even though you want to do some fun things. You still have your priorities to do when you get home. So
But still, coaches have a big job every year because teams change every year.
well, I think you got to figure out how to gel their personalities. We're not like the college where we can recruit the style of kid to fit the style that we want to play. So you have to teach the kids
You can't
the way you want them to play.
Can't
So
red shirt anybody.
no, it'd be nice for some, but I've known a few schools that redshirted them in the 8th grade before they got to the high school. But we'll keep those names under wraps.
Well, we won't talk
So-
about those Marion County schools.
But
Okay.
no, I think it's a tall task for coaches
Oh,
to make
absolutely.
the kids fit the system, and then I think it's important that the kids understand the system and the parents understand the system to know where their kids fit at in the roles they got to play.
And you got a big part in making these kids reliable citizens once they reach that age.
Well, I think when I go to many places, our kids are very well behaved, and
Yes.
and they get a lot of compliments at times about how our kids behave, and they pick things up after themselves, and they don't leave it dirty when they leave, and they take care of the places that they're at. And that's a testament to not only the kids but the coaches and what they expect of them.
And their parents as well.
Well, it goes all the way top to bottom, so not to leave anybody out, but as you know, it takes more than just the coach or the parent to make them do the right thing. As a kid at one time, I'm sure I tried to do things that my parents wouldn't let me do.
No, not
Coaches
you.
usually corrected me and yanked my tail a little bit. So,
Someone would like to get a ticket for Friday night at Muncie. What do they do?
well, if we're lucky, we'll have some left over after the kids
Okay.
buy them. But then if so, we'll put something out on Twitter or the website to announce that we have a
Okay.
few left. If
That's
there's
fine.
any left, I'm not sure there's going to be any left, but
Wondering how to get the word out if there is.
we'll put it out on our website or off of Twitter, and I usually send it to the media so they can broadcast it over the airwaves. So.
And be nice. So a week from today, you'll be getting ready for a Spartan game.
Absolutely. I won't know what to do if we don't host a game. It'd be 9 years without, first year time in 9 years without hosting one.
That's
So
right.
I don't want to break that streak of hosting one. So I'm just happy that we can host round 2 if we get past round 1.
Well, we hope so too. And as always, we appreciate you stopping by to bring us up to date. Any news you want to tell us before we sign off?
I don't think so. I think I'll get you a coach next week. I got one that couldn't do it today. Are you going to do it next week? Or are you going to take a week off? Since we're on, yes.
We're getting a thumbs up from the boss in there.
So
in
we
the
are
control
doing it
room.
next week?
We are doing it next week.
Well, if I can get that coach here, he said he'd be here next Monday. But if not, it might be me again, since everybody else might be on break somewhere.
Right.
But we enjoy having you as well.
So, or maybe I'll get Trent.
Oh,
Go
you
get your
always-
daughter-in-law.
Well, you can do that.
She
too.
told me never.
We appreciate you taking time out today. We know you're busy all the time with sports, and
It's always happy to be here to talk about our kids. That's what it's about.
thanks, Brent,
Thanks for having me.
and good luck to the Spartans. Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report. We'll be here again next week. Good night.